Jason.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here tonight to do our weekend wrap-up and our Big Fuss Show combo show. This is week 26, season 2.
We executed.
I heard a fan offer free Dippin' Dots if I blew it.
Wanted to have some fun, execute.
I had bombs.
Stay as a team, execute, give 100%.
Dippin' Dots sound good.
All right, guys, SportsCast. I have John Hammonds on with me. What's up, John?
What's up, man?
We haven't been with you now since last Friday. I covered Kentucky women's basketball on Sunday. I'll be doing that again this Sunday. They're actually having an alumni game on Sunday this week, and I get to cover that. It's going to be pretty cool. There's supposed to be like up to 80 women's basketball alumni there. They're going to be celebrating their achievements and everything and walking out on the court, and I'm supposed to be able to help cover all that. So it's going to be a cool event to cover on Sunday. And y'all stay tuned, Greenville Sports Media and all that, because I'll be doing some stuff for that. But I have Jason Harrison here with us tonight again. Let me get him in here. What's up, Jason?
What's up, fellas? What's happening?
It's Ole Miss. It's Ole Miss and Kentucky night. I didn't figure you'd want to miss this one.
Man, listen, and I forgot, you know what tomorrow is. And so I literally just pulled into the house 5 minutes ago and saw your text oh, let me go ahead and do that. Did the ribbon and running today. Was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Done with that. And then my first thing on my TV.
Yeah, I ain't been here long either, man.
Here's the problem. If you forget about Valentine's Day,
I've been ripping and running all day.
You might be coming to live with me, brother.
Done. I'm done.
It's
got your done taken care of.
It's overpriced anyways. Valentine's Day is.
Well, I didn't have to spend a whole lot.
You got
of
a woman.
Yeah,
but when you got a woman, you got to take care of.
When you got a woman, it's different. But
see, here's the thing. I just got her a new house, so I'm kind of off the hook. You see what I'm saying? And so the fact that I'm off the hook just a little bit, I had to put some thought into this because I couldn't just go buy.
You still can't completely forget it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I had to get my mom something, my aunt something, had to get her something. You see what I'm saying? So then I got to get my kids something tomorrow, but I can worry about them tomorrow. Then I have a busy day tomorrow anyway on Wednesday. So yeah, you're right. I had to get her something.
Yeah, you still can't completely forget it.
No, it's true.
You're right about that.
All right, guys. So we're coming off. We didn't do our weekend wrap-up show. I'm going to start with the college basketball polls from the weekend that was, where we didn't get to cover. But I want to start with the polls. There's quite a bit of shakeup, and Hammonds, do you have the polls pulled up?
Yeah, give me just a second. I hadn't.
Oh yeah, it's quite a bit of shakeup. You're right about that.
Yeah, I got it. At 1, you had UConn. 2 was Purdue. 3 was Houston. 4 was Marquette. They moved up. 5 was Arizona. 6 was Kansas, which they'll probably move back down after last night's loss to Texas Tech. 7 was North Carolina. 8 was Tennessee. 9 was Duke. 10 was Iowa State. Really impressed with Iowa State lately. They've been playing some good basketball. They're all hit on the road at Cincinnati tonight. 11 is your South Carolina Gamecocks, everybody.
Oh, we talked about that.
Hey, man, they've been playing really well.
Lamont Paris, Coach of the Year. He's my Coach of the Year right now. I think he's doing a really good job. 12 is Baylor. I was really surprised that Auburn didn't drop. They only dropped to 13th, which I know, losing to Florida like that, I figured they would drop a little bit, but they stayed pretty much right around the 12, 13 spot. 14 was Illinois.
Right.
15 was Alabama. 16 was Dayton. I was kind of shocked that they stayed where they was because they lost to VCU, but
they moved up 2 spots and lost.
They did. It just didn't make no sense to me there. 17 was Creighton. 18 is St. Mary's. St. Mary's is coming on right now. They're playing really good basketball. 19 is BYU. 20 is Wisconsin. 21 is Virginia.
Who lost and moved up too? BYU lost and moved up as well in the poll.
And 22 was Kentucky, which I don't know if Kentucky needs to be ranked right now with the way they're playing, but they are where they are right now. 23rd was Indiana State, which they're behind right now at home. They're behind at home to Illinois State right now by 7 at halftime. So maybe they get back in it and win. 23 was Indiana State. 24 was Florida Atlantic. I don't know how they're still ranked, to be honest, but that's just I don't know. And 25th was Oklahoma. And I'm gonna give you who I think should be ranked part of this segment. I think Florida should be ranked. I think Washington State should be ranked. I think Washington State should be ranked over Dayton, if you want to know the truth. Washington State has some really good wins here recently. Kyle Smith is one of the best coaches in the country right now. They're probably going to lock up their first tournament bid since 2008. That's a big deal for Wazoo. And from there, maybe Texas A&M. They did beat Tennessee Saturday. Gonzaga got 50 votes. Here's what I've been telling people is beyond the top 5, maybe top 6, Jason, most of these teams have 6 or 7 losses. Mm-hmm. And that's where it shows you that college basketball parity is pretty high this year.
I think that's what me and Brad talked about so much this year. And I was saying that in these conferences, they're really going to beat up on each other. They're going to beat up on each other. And the road has been – see, 2 teams that are finding out that the grass is not greener on the other side, Houston and Florida Atlantic. They're in the conferences right now that night in and night out, they really have to bring it. They don't have days where they can just show up and just overpower people. The conference they're in, everybody's Kentucky.
They're both.
You look at the SEC this year. You got an improved Florida team. You got an improved Ole Miss team. You got South Carolina in the top 15. Auburn is good again, which I know everybody's they're all going to be out on Kentucky. But listen, I would hate to face a 6C Kentucky team with the talent that they got right now in a bracket.
That's without a doubt. You're not lying about that. And we and Brad, we talked about it all the time. Kentucky is Kentucky, just like Kansas, Duke is Duke, North Carolina. Traditional powerhouse schools.
They may be worse than
everybody's best shot.
Well, see, here's the issue you got, and I tell people this: they're really, really talented, but their defense is not real good. But their offense is good enough to win 2 or 3 straight to go to the Sweet 16. And if you're a team, say like a team like Indiana State, somebody in there, San Diego State, and you see Kentucky in your bracket,
Kentucky has not proven.
I know
has
that.
Not proven in a close game.
The name alone,
they can pull it out.
The name alone, though, with how much talent that they got, that could give you a little scare in a bracket. Like
I'm wearing my hat. I'm still Kentucky, okay? But I'm just telling you, they have not proven that they can win these close games. And
Well,
they're going to
tonight
be close
they're going to
because
be.
Kentucky play defense.
Well, tonight they're going to be at full strength for the first time all year long. Trey Mitchell is out on the floor. DJ
Yeah,
Wagner's
we'll
out
see.
on the floor.
I'm still not believing.
So, well,
We'll see. I'm still not believing.
are you like one?
All right.
Are you
I
some of
want to
those?
talk about Indiana.
You're like some of those conspiracy theorists that believe Bradshaw wouldn't play.
I'm still not believing. That's all I'm saying. I'm still not believing. Anyways, I want to talk about Indiana State. They're in the polls this week for the first time since 1978, 79 with Larry Bird. None other than the Larry legend himself is the last time Indiana State was in the polls. And just to give you guys a little bit of taste of what is going on at Indiana State, I know you just gave an update on a score tonight, but they are fifth in the country in points per game. They're averaging 85.6 points a game. They have 5 players that are averaging double figures. Swope is averaging 17.7, and they have a big man in the middle that's catching all kinds of attention. He wears goggles. He's a white dude, and he wears goggles, and he's catching all kinds of attention. He's averaging 16.4 points and 7.4 rebounds a game. I just want to give a huge shout out to the Sycamores from Terre Haute, Indiana. It's been whatever, 20, 40, 45 years since they've been ranked in the poll.
And I'm going to tell you this: there's always that one guy.
That's
Jason
time,
played in the NCAA tournament. The names, they always do those articles of names to watch in the NCAA tournament. And he's going to be one of those guys that they're going to be putting out there just because of, his goggles. There's always that guy that they always put like in these articles about names to watch, guys to watch. He's going to be in the show, and he's going to be one of those guys that they want to watch consistently in this NCAA tournament because he can really play basketball. Like he's not he's a slower guy, but he can do things beyond being slow. He can drive to the goal. He can shoot. He's a really good free throw shooter. He can beat his man off the dribble a little bit. So he's got some talent on him, and just beyond him, Indiana State is a team I'd watch to maybe win 2 games and go to the Sweet 16.
I'm gonna put it out there, and you guys will probably come back full circle with me. With all of this talk about guys going to the G League and Ignite and all that, for once in a long time, we actually got some kids in the NCAA that just want to play basketball. And even though the transfer portal is out of control still, and this, that, and there,
you
think about all the top kids.
Indiana State team.
Let's think about all the kids who decided not to go to college and go get money as a junior and as a senior. The game of college basketball is at a good place right now. And stories like Indiana State is very remarkable. You're talking about over almost 30-something years. But 50-something years. You see what I'm saying? When they're being ranked, so you look at that's an achievement in itself. That just shows you that it does not matter where you go. You go where you are allowed to showcase your talent.
And to be honest, the women's game is in the same spot too. They're both in a good spot right now.
Game is great right now.
Mike,
it really is.
I watched a really good game the other night. Nebraska and Iowa. Nebraska upset Iowa. I thought, was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday. And Caitlin Clark. Sunday morning. Yeah. Caitlin Clark. To me,
Caitlin Clark, driving actually.
Caitlin Clark to me, she's the face of college women's basketball right now. And there's talk now to where she might even come back for another year because of NIL. Could you imagine another year of Caitlin Clark? Could you imagine another year?
Listen, I hope she does. That's just because she's my favorite player. She was my favorite player last year. I hope she does. She's got a COVID year that she can come back for. This is her senior year, but she does have a COVID year. She could use that, but
I'll say this: she's the Steph Curry of college basketball. She'll throw it up from anywhere. She's not afraid of the big moment. That's for sure.
Well, here's what I'll say about Caitlin Clark. Pay attention. Thursday night, they play Michigan at home. She is 8 points from breaking the women's all-time women scoring record. 8 points. Expect to see her early in this game break the all-time scoring record. Kelsey Plum's scoring record. She is 8 points shy of play Michigan at home Thursday night. Tune in because she's going to become the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
To add after that, do you think anybody ever breaks it?
If she comes back for a COVID year, she's getting 5,000. If she comes back for a COVID year, listen, John, she's only like 100 points, right around 108, 109 from breaking Pete Maravich's record.
That's impressive.
Which she will do this year. She will break it if she stays healthy, unless she gets hurt. So stay tuned. I'm telling you, she's going to be the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history. But this Thursday, she's breaking the women's record.
When you get put in the same category with Pistol Pete Maravich, you're doing something pretty good. Like
that's what I'm telling you.
You're up there.
That's what I'm telling you. She's only like 100 some points shy of Pistol Pete.
Yep. Man, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Night, Bill Self.
He's saying something real quick. Jason, what?
I was gonna say, let's be honest. If Pistol Pete had a 3-point line, if Pistol Pete had a 3-point line, his record would be unattainable. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, yeah, and if he had his 4th year, he didn't get to play as a freshman either. So yeah. But I mean, All right. So last night, Bill Self, 21 years into being the coach in Kansas, was ejected for the very first time in a ball game last night. And Kansas gets blown out on the road at Texas Tech, lose by 29. They only score on. Kansas is 7-5 in the Big 12.
Man, for me with the Kansas, I've never seen a team that can play like they do at home. And then, they go on the road and they look like the Detroit Pistons. Like, it's – which I get, playing on the road's tough.
Hunter Dickinson had 5 points last.
Which I get, like you say, playing on the road's tough. You're not going to win many games on the road. But there's a lot of teams that do win games on the road. But they seem to can't never win on the road for some odd reason. And let's be fair, McCullough was out. They've had a couple guys injured. Especially these last couple of games where they've been on the road and they haven't looked their best. But for me, I just don't think Kansas, their depth is what's going to kill them in the NCAA tournament. They don't have that one guy that they can really go to change the game and make plays. Dickinson can do it. But the thing about it, Harris.
I mean, they got a great
McCullough,
starting five.
Well, and Harris to me is sometimes he'll look good one game, and he looked good against Kentucky. Then the following week he looked like he never played a game of basketball. Then he did it again against Baylor, I think, and then last night he just could not play at all. Like, there's some issues with this Kansas team, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even think they're a top 2 seed. I think they're going to be in the 3 range. It's going to be a different aspect for them, especially because they're used to being.
Everybody still, up until last night, everybody still had them on the 2 line. 5 Kansas team.
I don't
on
think
the 2 line. Right?
Here's the thing. Here's the reason why I think they're not a 2 is because of the road losses. They're not going to be able to withstand the Big 12, the rest of the schedule, because it's going to get a lot harder in the Big 12, especially on the road. Now, if they can win their home games and take care of business at home, they can still maneuver that and maybe get a 2 seed. But this losing on the road continuously is an issue because, and last night, Bill Self, I'll be honest, he was ready to get the HELL out of there. He was to the point to where, you know what, I'm out. Like, see you later. I'm just going to get ejected. I'm going to get thrown out of this game. I don't even think he wanted to watch it the rest of the game because it was ugly last night. And give credit to Texas Tech. McCaslin.
Yeah,
McCaslin. I'm going to tell you something, man. He is the turnaround that he's given Texas Tech in his first year. It's incredible. And they're going to be back in the NCAA tournament. They are really good basketball.
Yeah, he was the guy at North Texas last year.
They got a really good basketball team.
Yeah, he's the one that had North Texas. They ran all the way to the NIT finals. I can't remember.
Well, it didn't. Well, it didn't help none that I can't remember. I don't think they did. No,
they went to the finals. I know.
I can't remember, but
I think they won.
I'm going to take. But you can't. But last night you watched that game. Kansas had no chance of winning that game. Texas Tech was on fire all night. They couldn't miss. So,
well, they had one player that was 12 for 12 from the field and had 30 points. Yeah, 12 is about as good as you can get. Isn't that right?
They couldn't miss last night, man. That was unbelievable the way they played. But once again, a top-ranked team on the road in conference play brings out the best in people.
Yeah. You can't get much better than 12 for 12, can you? Though I mean,
you can't.
I mean, if you do that, you deserve to win.
I mean, that's pretty efficient right there. Is all I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to switch it up, and we're going to talk a little bit about football stuff. I'm going to start with some coaching stuff that's been going on. Bill O'Brien, who had been hired for Ohio State just last month, is now hired at Boston College to be the head coach, which opened up the OC position at Ohio State. And over the weekend, a big surprise, Chip Kelly resigned at UCLA, and within an hour after he resigned, was hired as the OC of Ohio State. So all this was in the works, I'm sure of it.
And
Hammonds, I wanted to get your thought.
Well, and on top of that, Deshaun. Okay.
I'm going to get to Deshaun. I'll get to him, but I want to talk about these two first. Yeah. What did you think about Chip Kelly going to, resigning as the head coach to go to OC as the OC of Ohio State? I mean, what do you think about all that?
Man, to be honest with you, think about that. Chip Kelly knew he wasn't finna get anybody to come to UCLA. He had to get his name back hot again. And going to Ohio State where you have a different caliber of players that he was not able to pull like he was at Oregon. He couldn't. I think he knew the right ones on the wall. He was not a good fit for UCLA, what he wanted to do. The players, the offense he wants to run.
He was almost, end of November, there was talk he was going to get fired, Chip Kelly, out there. So,
I think he got out before he got.
It's not surprising that. Yeah,
it's not surprising. I think,
that's not surprising. I
don't think that, like I said, he couldn't turn UCLA around. He wasn't that guy for them. And going somewhere else, he thinks that. Think about this. He thinks he is the missing piece for Ohio State to get them over the top.
You know what I think? You know what I think hurt Chip Kelly? You know what I think? You know what I think hurt him more than anything, though? Is, he had that great team at Oregon. But I think when he went to the NFL, it kind of knocked him off his perch. Like he wasn't the same coach after that. He made that big fly-by-night thing.
Do you think his offense and the way he's run at UCLA, do you think it'll be a good fit for Ohio State? I haven't been all that impressed with his offense since he left Oregon years ago.
Now, when he was at Oregon, he was lighting the scoreboard up. He had what was it, Dennis Dixon? I think he had Dennis Dixon ago now. He had 2 or 3 good quarterbacks, had some good receivers.
I don't know what happened like 7 years.
I just don't know what happened from Chip, Oregon to now. Something's changed about him. I don't know if it's the game has changed.
You think he finds it with the caliber of talent at Ohio State?
I think the game has changed. Like Jason was shaking his head. I think the game has changed since he was at Oregon. Like it's not the same kind of. It's run differently, I'm guessing. And to me, I think when he was at the Eagles, I think he hurt himself more. I think he should have stayed in college. Because
man, it's hard. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say, you know what? I've reached the mountaintop. Let me go try to get to another mountaintop. Let me try my chance at being one of the top with the best of the best. And so you had to do that. But the thing about it is, he took a job too soon. He came back and got UCLA. If he goes to Ohio State and watch this, he's probably like, yeah, Lee, I should have just waited because I could have been up for the Alabama job. Nobody knew the Alabama job was going to be coming up. And that really wasn't a ripple effect because the guy who won the most ended up getting, the guy who won the most in a short amount of time ended up getting a job at Alabama. He was a hot guy. He could recruit. And before, Oregon's offense was all it was. It was Chip Kelly's offense. He was a mastermind. I got Nike behind me, and I got my potent offense behind me. Whatever you want to do, we can do it here. Now, he's at a point in which now no one's coming to UCLA. If you look at UCLA when they play, there's nobody even at the games. And going from Oregon to UCLA,
I know
nobody's at the game.
The Rose Bowl was empty when they played.
Empty. So if you're looking at UCLA, you're looking at Ohio State, in which they have consecutive sellouts. You pretty much gonna try to do the same thing too, because they can pay me top dollar, and I can recruit.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. He's taking a chance, because if Chip Kelly goes to Ohio State and fails and doesn't do good, his career is done. He's over.
It's hard to fail when you got some of the top players in the country.
I don't see him.
It's hard to fail. Think about that. It's hard to fail.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
I understand that, Jason. I understand that.
I got you though.
I'm just saying if. All right. So then UCLA hires Deshaun Foster, running back that played for UCLA, great running back. He's been there they hired from within and hired
Yeah.
Deshaun Foster.
I'm gonna say
He's early 40s. I think he's early 40s, something like that.
I'm gonna say this about Deshaun Foster. I love this hire. You know, he was a freshman running back in '98. When they last won their conference championship. They went to a Rose Bowl, and I think they was in contention for a title until I think they lost the last game. Was it to Miami maybe? Where they got beat in the final game where they had a chance to go to the championship and they got beat. What I liked about his press conference, he said he was going to go meet with the donors, that UCLA was going to be attractive again, that it's going to be a place where players can come. I really like his enthusiasm, and I think he can turn around UCLA with the right people around him. Because let me tell you something. Out in UCLA,
call me crazy, John, but I think the UCLA job just got harder. I think it got harder. And the reason I'm going to say it got harder is because they're not playing out there in sunny California in the Pac-12 and stuff anymore. They're flying all the way across country to go play with the big boys that play defense in the Big Ten. And I think that's part of the reason why. I think that job just got extremely more difficult. And that mountaintop is going to be pretty steep, if you ask me.
I'm not denying it. But if there's anybody that can turn it around, I think it can be Deshaun Foster. You know, he played with Carolina in his early career. You know, he was a really good running back at Carolina. Panthers, that is. And, you know, he can bring that mentality from the NFL to UCLA and, you know, get their recruits back. Guys that, you know, I wouldn't put it on the same pedestal as Kentucky basketball in terms of, you know, the mystique and everything, but it's a really big brand in college football. And it's a place that players used to really go and want to play at. And the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a dead dormant.
But even before the Chip Kelly regime and the hire, like they've been struggling with fans in the stands for quite some time out there.
I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about early '90s Troy Aikman type days. Those were. It's a big brand. You know, it's.
I know, but what I'm saying is I think they have lost a lot of that luster, and I think going to the Big Ten is really hurt them. I think USC has a chance to do something a little bit better out there.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Let me ask you this question. I think UCLA will want to go back out west before too long.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question then. Do you think it benefits football or basketball better?
For UCLA?
Yes. I think it benefits them basketball better than it does football. But can there?
It's 100% basketball.
Yeah.
UCLA will benefit on basketball. I think it's not a benefit at all for football.
Okay,
I actually think that it is a period for football.
Well, if you look at it from a football perspective, there's not really a lot of great teams beyond Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, you got Wisconsin, but below that, there's Nebraska, there's Rutgers.
Yeah, but John, they've been out there in a conference that does not play defense like the Big Ten.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, even teams like Illinois and you know, and Wisconsin and Penn State, and I mean, there's not teams that play defense out there in the Pac-12.
I think it can be beneficial if Deshaun Foster can figure it out and get it together, because he's willing to do that. You know, he's going out, reaching out to people, going to these recruits, going to these donors. Now, a former alumni guy like Deshaun Foster, I think that could be beneficial to a UCLA program that really needs some recharge.
We'll see. he's got to build some excitement and get some fans in the stands first.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So,
I mean, for sure. I mean, and I have a really strong feeling that UCLA is not going to like being in the Big Ten. I just do. I think they're going to want and wish that they could go back out west. That's what I think.
Well, hey, they will rack up a lot of freaking fly miles. I can tell you that. They're gonna have to fly in 2 days early, not just to have jet lag from flights, and stay over some places instead of flying.
I mean, can you imagine having to go play Boston College?
Yes.
From
Time
UCLA,
zone difference.
having to go play Boston College.
Hey, ask Jason Harrison. He played for Ole Miss. He was somewhere every single night playing a game. But
we were in the South. We didn't go from the West Coast to the North like that. That makes a difference.
Though, I was taking it from the fact that you was playing somewhere every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Saturday. You was going somewhere every single week.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I understand that. But we would get there a day before. But like with football, think about all the traveling they got to do. They got to take equipment, all stuff. They got to get cross country, so they're going to have to show up at least 3 days early. Just to set up and get ready. So, huh?
Yeah, at least 2 days early. At least.
Yeah. They'll get there 3 days.
Yeah.
Think about it. They got to get adjusted to the time zone. Then they got to get everything going. Then they got to walk through. Then they got to be ready to play on a Saturday. So they're going to show up places. They play Saturday. They'll be there Wednesday, Thursday. They'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's going to be a big adjustment. Anyways, let's do our pick six. Let's do your top 6 contenders for college basketball. We hadn't done this for a few weeks.
I can go first.
It is almost mid-February. It's almost mid-February, so we're getting to the nitty-gritty. We're about 5 weeks away from Selection Sunday. We did a bracketology show this past Friday. We're going to do a special on this Friday with some bracketology talk. So we're kind of getting into it. Who's your top 6 real contenders for a championship?
My top 6 right now. Well, I got my top 2. UConn and Purdue's your top 2, and then there's everybody else. But I'll just add the 3 more or the 4 more. To me, 3's Houston. 4. Man, it's tough. I would put Arizona in there. 5 would be. Man, I really want to say Marquette, but man, there's certain times where Marquette just does not play well.
They've been so up and down. I really like Marquette.
I think I'm going to go Tennessee. When Tennessee's really playing and they're getting it together, they're a really fun team to watch. They had their little spat Saturday night where they didn't look really great, but every team's going to go through that through the course of the year. And then my 6th one, I would have to say, I don't like them away from Hilton Coliseum, but I'm going to say Iowa State. Iowa State's playing really good basketball right now. They're up there, and you could switch them out with Duke, but I don't trust this Duke team. I know they've been winning. I know they've been doing things, but man, they're not the Duke team that you normally see out there. Like, it's just, I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the NCAA tournament, ACC tournament coming up. But I will say this. Now. For all you South Carolina fans out there, y'all going to like this. If South Carolina can beat Auburn on the road Wednesday night, which I don't foresee happening. Neville Arena is a tough environment. It's a tough place to play. But South Carolina could be in the top 5 come Monday afternoon, next Monday.
Maybe.
And
that'd be a
6-spot
jump.
To me, South Carolina is top 10. I don't care. Argue with the wall.
Well, but they're
Lamont
not. They're 11th right now. That'd be a
They're
6
not.
spot jump.
They're not, but to me, they're a top 10 team. You know, there ain't many teams that can go into Knoxville and beat Tennessee like they did, and dominate that game like they did.
I
They
agree
beat
with you,
Kentucky.
100%.
They beat Kentucky
Jason,
handily at home. So
you got your 6.
I would agree with one UConn. I like Iowa State. I like the way they're playing. I think they're playing well. I like South Carolina. I think South Carolina, I agree. I believe South Carolina may be a top 10, top 5 team because the way they play the ball, the way they play the game, they share the ball, they shoot the ball well, and they guard. I think Auburn is a sleeper, so I had to throw them in there. I want to say Houston because Houston gets to the Final Four just based on what's the seeding is. I don't know if they're going to be able to get a good seeding. I like Marquette in Arizona. And the one team that I don't want to say that I'm going to have to say is Purdue. And here's the reason. Because like I know, Texas Tech kind of did it yesterday. When Ely has to come out and guard away from the goal, Purdue's defense is very, very suspect. When he has to come out and guard, just like the big fella from Kansas had to come out and guard the 3-point line, then you don't have an advantage anymore. You can't have him back in the bag, So Kansas and Purdue, to me, are a bad matchup away. Now, are they title contenders? Probably so. There are a lot of other sleepers? Probably so. We know, like every time we say that every part of the year, whoever gets hot is going to end up making a run. But yeah,
I'll say this to piggyback on what you're saying. You was talking about South Carolina. Defense travels in the NCAA tournament. I know you got to score points to win, but defense travels, and I would take South Carolina's defense over anybody's right now. Probably not Houston. Probably not Houston, but I would put them in that same category defensively. They're a really fun team that could get
right
to the
now,
second
guys.
weekend.
I would put UConn and Purdue. I agree with Jason with what you said as far as bringing out Edey. If you have a 5 guy that can bring him out, that could potentially be a problem for them. I do agree with that, but I still think that's 1 and 2. I want to say Arizona here, guys, because I really like this Arizona team. I think they have a very high ceiling, but I have watched them several times this year, and they struggle at times.
Too streaky.
And I just, as a real contender to win it all, I can't pick them. I like Marquette. I can't pick them for that because they've been a little streaky yourself. So I'm going to go with a team that y'all didn't mention. I'm going to pick North Carolina. I think this North Carolina team has really had a great season. Yes, they slipped up last week and lost 1, but
yeah, they're about to lose. They're about to lose tonight.
I hate to say it, but I think Tennessee and South Carolina both could possibly win. So that would be 5.
If North Carolina,
and then I would go with Houston as my 6.
If North Carolina doesn't wake up, they're going to lose tonight. They're losing to Syracuse on the road.
I can agree. I can agree North Carolina because, like I say, they have all the tools, but it's just that luck of the draw. Like you never know. We're gonna have some bracket busters every year. It's just, and that's the only thing about the NCAA tournament. If it was a 2 to 3 game series, the better team would always win. But it's just one game.
Yeah,
one game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of,
I agree.
Scores.
All right, John, this is right up your alley right here.
Well, I was just going to update.
This one's right up your alley.
Pittsburgh's about to go on the road and beat Virginia, by the way.
That's going to be tough.
That's
Virginia's
Virginia's
tough.
Is Virginia a fraud?
They're playing well.
All right. Robert Rose says Purdue, Arizona, UConn, Auburn, South Carolina, and Houston as his 6.
Yeah, this is.
I appreciate you being on, Robert. Thought I'd get that on there for you. All right. This one's right up your alley. Bid Steelers.
Oh, man.
I can name one right off the bat, off the top of my head. Drake. Missouri Valley Conference could be a bid stealer.
Drake might be an at-large. It just depends.
It could be a bid stealer, though. Drake is playing well. You're right. I'm rolling with that, though. I got a former player on that team. So, yeah, Drake, I'm with you on that one.
Man, you put me on the spot here.
Drake could definitely be a bid stealer, if you ask me. What about Memphis? Memphis could be a bid stealer.
Yeah.
Win the conference tournament.
Who else could be? You know what? You know who could be a bid stealer, but they're not saying that? Northwestern.
I think Northwestern's in possibly, but if we're looking at bid stealers, I'm thinking somebody like
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon probably wins their tournament, though.
They probably win their conference tournament. Maybe.
UNC Wilmington.
I'll tell you a team.
UNC
San Francisco.
Could.
San Francisco could be another team out in the West Coast Conference. San Francisco is really playing really well. Trying to think. There's just maybe a team like St. Bonaventure. They're playing really well.
What about Richmond?
UNLV. I wouldn't put it past UNLV. Richmond would be one. I don't think. I wouldn't put it past UNLV. I wouldn't put it past UNLV to make a run in the Mountain West tournament. They've beaten some good teams in the Mountain West this year.
It's possible.
I think New Mexico. I'll give you a team that you probably all never is Charlotte from the American. Charlotte
I think that conference is probably going to have a bid stealer.
South Florida. Abdur Rahim.
South Florida could do it. Yeah.
He's coaching. He's having some really good success down there. Wasn't he the coach at Kennesaw State, if I'm not?
He was. He was.
Yeah. There's some teams in there that could make some I'll tell you another team that I would not want to face come conference tournament time, and that's Arkansas. Because you let a team that played desperate.
I don't know about that one. Arkansas not played good this year.
They're not played good, but you don't want to give a team like that a chance in a
don't worry about it. You might as well say Ole Miss, John. Ole Miss. Because Arkansas Musselman is out of there.
Musselman's been muzzled.
Musselman is out of there. He only stays places.
Ole Miss is probably going to make the tournament anyway.
He's been muzzled.
Yeah. This probably is Musselman's last year at Arkansas. I can see it right now. Watch this.
You think so?
On this show, I'm going to make the call, Brad. John, you're my witness. Musselman will be at.
Hey, you do realize he's been to 3 straight Sweet 16s, right? Before you say this,
it won't be 4. It won't be 4.
I'm just saying.
He will be.
He went to 2 of them were Elite 8.
Well, you got to look. You got to look at the type of players he had. He had NBA players.
He had 2 Elite 8s and a Sweet 16 last year.
And if you go look at that team, he had NBA players on that team.
I'm just saying, before you say they're going to fire him in one bad year, that's all I was saying.
He's not. They're not going to fire him, Brad. Brad, do the history. He only stays in school 4 years at a time. This is year 4. He will be at Louisville next year. Mark my word.
You think Louisville? Okay. You think that's where he goes?
Remember, I said that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of think it's Mick Cronin's job to turn down, but maybe not.
And by the way,
Well,
our precious Indiana State is about to lose at home to Illinois State.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you got that bullseye on your back now. When you got that bullseye.
They do, and they got a 2-game lead, so maybe they can wake up. I was hoping they would. They do have a 2-game lead in the conference, so.
Which, when you got your name on your back,
so I got two quick things I want to mention for a no-fly zone. So, and Jason, this one is mainly for you. Dartmouth, the National Labor Board has told them so far that they can vote for a union on March the 5th. They claimed that Dartmouth is employees, and there is a union out there that the school already uses for its school employees, and all 15 players signed a petition to try to get this done. And there is a vote March the 5th for their players to join this union, okay, as official employees of Dartmouth. Now, having said that, the National Labor Board also is allowing Dartmouth till March the 5th to appeal this decision. So it's not final yet. But Jason, I wanted to ask you, fly, no fly, are you for the players getting this union for benefits and stuff like that, or are you against it?
I'm for the players. I'm for.
I know that.
I've been saying.
And then you've been talking about.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
We've been talking about this for a long. We talked
time.
about this last year. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I was telling you,
bring it to you,
and I told you, man, something like this was bound to happen. To me, they and I said it, they messed up and allowed this NIL to get out of hand.
The first of its kind. NCAA has always called them student athletes, and now the National Labor Board is saying that they are employees. But here's my question to you, Jason. I know you've kind of pushed and said that this is a possibility and wanted this. My thing here is if this goes through and they do this, is it possible that they could claim that they're part-time employees and not give them benefits?
Well, you have to look at it like this, Brad. How many hours a week do they practice? How many hours a week are they traveling? And so that's going to equate to full-time employees. That's going to equate to them. They're practicing 3 hours a day, right? They're obligated to do things outside of just being students. And so I think you have to word if they do part-time, I can see what you're saying like that. If they can grant them part-time, well, no, you only part-time, but we don't have to give you benefits. But they're generating money for the university, not maybe a dogman. But see, this is people are paying close attention to this because if this happens, it's just like it's a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. Everybody will try and do this.
It's going to be, oh yeah. I mean, it's going to just flow through the NCAA and all these schools, especially if it works and these players start getting benefits and everything. I mean, this is monumental if this happens.
This will hurt the average high school kid. This was going to hurt because now you really have to get employees who have experience. And the transfer portal is going to be way more important because it's going to be hard to bring in. Now, the blue blood still, it's just going to be harder and harder for high school kids to get to Division I basketball now. And guys are going to stay in school longer. because they're going to benefit off having benefit. Can you imagine kids having their own parents? They don't have to carry their kids
you're
anymore.
Part of a union like this, Jason. You'll be under contracts. You'll have like it possibly will slow down all these transfers because you might be like on a 2-year like contract with this.
No, that's not true. That's not true because scholarships are still year to year, and so until they say it's an agreement for 4 years, and if you break it, you forfeit. You see what I'm saying?
Just saying
so
the
much
possibility would be out there that they could change that to where it's like a contract
You're
like
right.
you signed for 2 years, 4 years. The possibilities could
I see what you're
change
saying. I see what
if
you're saying. I see
you
what
do.
you're saying.
Yeah. Like this is monumental for college sports, to be honest with you, if this goes through. And I know a lot of people are not paying attention to it because it's Dartmouth and why this is happening out there and everything. Like I know a lot of people aren't paying attention to it, but it is monumental for college sports, to be honest with you.
That it is.
And
You're
I wanted to
exactly
give
right.
you a chance because me and you have been talking about this for like since last year, you know.
But I told you what it was
you've
going to
been
get
saying,
to.
Yeah. So I got to give you all the props on it. Jason's been talking about this and saying that it was going to come down to this at some point. And here we are a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks away, March the 5th, that it's potential that could happen. Now, they are appealing the National Labor Board's decision, but the decision has already been to name them as employees. So they would have to overturn their own decision.
Very big, very big,
right.
very big.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know I knew it would be pretty big with him. Former player, played at Ole Miss, and he looks out for the players, and it's something that me and him talked about quite a bit on the show here. John, this one's for you. College football playoff committee is expected to meet on February the 20th. They're supposed to be expected to vote on a 5+7 model for the college football playoff.
I think this
it's currently a 6+6 model because there were 5 major conferences and then the group of 5. But with the basically right now of the Pac-12, they want to cut it to 5 and 7. So what do you think, John?
Well, I'm just going to go real quick on this. I think this would be fine. This would be a fly. I like this. What I don't like is their idea of switching up the March Madness. I think it would ruin what March Madness is all about and the way it's set up. It's sort to me, it's sort of like a participation trophy.
That's in a different for the playoff.
Oh, I know, but they had mentioned that along with that in an article today, and I don't agree with that.
It was mentioned with it. Yeah,
I don't want March Madness to be switched, but eventually it's going to happen, and it's probably going to ruin every single thing that's great about March Madness. And I'll still watch it, but it's going to ruin things, I think. But as far as the college football playoff goes, I'm for it. I think it's great because you get these teams that get to play, home games, sort of like NFL type atmosphere. You'll get that opportunity to get to visit a first round game, like it would be in a NFL matchup, and it to reach the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. On campus and everything. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Can't wait
for it. Great atmosphere for it. So, this is a fly for me.
All right, real quick, guys. Final buzzer. Ole Miss.
I'm not going to say much. I'm not going to say much.
Ole Miss and Kentucky tonight. Real quick, this is the end. Jason's an Ole Miss player. Who you got, Jason? It's at Rupp, and they have not been that first time ever. They've lost 3 in a row at Rupp. Who you got, Jason?
Unfortunately, it's gonna be 4 in a row losses. Hotty toddy. We are gonna come in here and kick some Wildcat ass.
Here's what I'll say.
All right. I mean, I figured I had to put you on the spot here.
Well, Kentucky's not played really well the last the last month. And they're going to be full strength tonight for the first time all year long.
Well, they ain't played no.
Cal Perry he's being ran out of town like the Wild Wild West. Like everybody, they're trying to get rid of him. Somewhere they're going to have to come up with something eventually down the stretch. Because the more losses that you pile up, the more loud it's going to get. And you're not eventually it's going to wear on you. But like I said, they're going to be full strength for the first time all year. There's a great chance tonight. Ole Miss is a really good team. If you don't know who Jalen Murray is, he's a former St. Peter's guard that beat Kentucky in the couple years ago in the 2022. So he's a really good shooter.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about this game is Jason would probably tell you, Ole Miss don't get on the glass as much. They're not real good on the glass. Kentucky could win that department, but as far as shooting goes, they're not a really good inside the 2-point shooting team.
If they win the glass tonight, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah, well, I am too. So, but give me Kentucky 2 points. I think they'll win by 2 or 3 points. So
okay, guys. Quickly, I'm just going to say it. I mean, just like Jason's. I mean, going to be hotty toddy. I'm going to say go Big Blue, just because I'm a huge fan, always been. But the truth is that the Rebels are going to come for their throats tonight. They've lost 3 in a row. And I mean, that's just the truth. They know they're down and they're going to come for them. Play.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a tough environment. And it's still rough. You know, the kids.
And by the way, I just wanted to let y'all know.
I had to have fun with this one. Out of Ole Miss, Kentucky, get you like having a little fun with us, man.
By the way, I was going to tell you, North Carolina is just about to lose.
We're going to have a bracketologist on Friday night.
North Carolina's about to lose on the road to Syracuse.
Go ahead.
North Carolina's about to lose on the road at Syracuse, by the way, just now. That's another road loss for North Carolina.
Real quick before I sign off tonight, so we can watch Kentucky and Ole Miss. Friday night, don't miss our show. T3 Bracketology is going to be here. We're going to do a game day pick on bracketology special. He is part of the bracket matrix, where there's over 100 people that compete to be the champion of the bracketologist, to get as many games and positions and see the top 20 or so in this.
And I'm going to tell you, T3 is one of the biggest ones. T3 is one of the biggest ones out there too. He's one of the biggest outlets that there is.
He is. T3, there's a few of them that we know. T3 is one of the best ones that there is. He is going to be with us for 1 hour on Friday night between 8 and 9. So be sure to catch us Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. T3 Bracketology is going to be here on College SportsCast for our game day pick 'em bracketology special. So check us out, guys. Let's go watch the game.
Let's have a good one, man. Appreciate you, Jason, for being with us, man.
Man, y'all
have a good night.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.